Hello, hello. It's a couple minutes early, but I figured we might as well get it going. So, in case I have any technical difficulties, this is Gina Ritchie here with Dana Liesegang and Meetings with Masters. Thank you so much, Dana, for being here. Last night I had some technical difficulties, so I wanted to make sure we got it going a few minutes early. So, very grateful that we're up and running and that you are actually my first guest on Meetings with Masters. And Dana, Dana is an absolute, I can't wait for you all to hear more about Dana. She is an author who worked hand in hand with Wayne, the one and only Wayne Dyer. She is an international speaker. She is a spiritual warrior, a survivor like no one has ever heard before. And I am honored and grateful that she is here with us tonight. Dana, thank you for being here.
Gina, thank you for having me on. It's an honor to be your first on the Masters meeting. Yes?
Yeah, meetings with masters and
Meeting Masters.
yeah,
That's
and
why we get things backwards.
yeah. It's glad we can get things backwards. There's technical difficulties. It's all good. And I love these live broadcasts because, it's real and raw. And we get to see people in their truth and their, being who they really are. And that's what I like about the live. It's unedited. And, I know you and I kind of live a life of honesty, truth, and being the unedited versions of ourselves. And you have an incredibly powerful story. And I, for one, am so thankful that we met last year, and we've really actually become great friends. And I just want to drop in and say what Meetings with Masters is, so that people understand it's really about meeting with people who have mastered their lives, who have mastered their self worth and their self improvement, who are masters of spirituality, who are masters of being connected to their divine spirit. And you have gone the depths of pain and beyond to get to where you are today. So I'd love to start off with you sharing a little bit, or as much as you want to share, about your story. Please take it away.
So thank you all for being on here. Really appreciate it and your support. And Gina, you make this a beautiful platform with your beautiful face. So appreciate you. So when Gina talks about being a victim to victory and that kick-ass victory, she's talking about at myself at the age of 19. I was in the United States Navy and I was raped and thrown off of a 75-foot cliff by another sailor and left for dead. I became a quadriplegic. I was paralyzed from the neck down. At first, I had broken C1, which is the top vertebrae in your neck, to C5, and you only have 7 vertebrae in your neck, plus a traumatic brain injury. And over the last nearly 30 years, actually 30 years today, I was in boot camp for my first day of boot camp. So yeah, that's an anniversary for me there.
Wow.
I managed to go from not being able to breathe on my own, doctors saying that I was going to die and my parents should come say their goodbyes. And at that time, I was in a coma for 18 hours. And when I woke up, I didn't want to live at first. And you can't commit suicide on a respirator. So I decided, well, if this is how it's going to be, I am not going to be in a respirator. And so I kept biting on it. And finally, they let me try, and I learned how to breathe on my own.
Wow.
Then 3 years later, took that to being independent in a wheelchair, and all the doctors and nurses saying it's not possible at your level of injury. You're always going to need a nurse. And so I was like, yeah, no, it's not going to work for me. That's not my style. I need my independence and I will have it. So I worked really hard and persevered. 3 years later, I was able to dress myself, shower myself, and, do everyday tasks of bowel and bladder control, or not bowel and bladder programs. because you lose control of your bowel and bladder functions when you have a spinal cord injury. I don't know if you knew that. From there, they were like, well, okay, well, you never walk again. I'm like, these people just don't get it. I'm like, they keep telling me I'm not going to be able to do it. And I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't work for me. So 10 years post injury, I took my first steps. I used Immacculee style training and stem cells in Mexico. And from there, I just kept going. And now I can walk a half a mile. It takes me an hour to walk a half a mile with a walker or crutches, but I can do it, and I can walk steps. And at 21 years post injury, I had met Wayne Dyer, and he told me, well, since you're doing all this other healing, why don't you go see John of God in Brazil? And I'm like, okay, if it helped him, it'll help me. And I dropped the weight of anger and hate and revenge off my shoulder, which entailed forgiveness. And when you forgive, you free your own soul to live a happier life. And that's what I did. And that's what I've been doing ever since. And Wayne, when I went back to tell him that I went to see John of God, he's like, oh, you're writing a book. And I'm like, I'm not a writer. And he's like, we will get you one. And so he had me write my story. And the title of the book is Falling Up.
Yeah.
My wild ride from victim to kick-ass victory. And that will give you the long version and the craziness that happened along the way. The wild ride is inside the book. So you just got the quick, short, sweet version of how I got hurt, where I'm at now. And today, I've had the honor of speaking on stage with Wayne in the Mediterranean and in Hawaii on a panel with Immacculee, Iligabiza, Anita Moojani, Scarlett Lewis, Kate MacKinnon. Like, I've just been blessed with forgiveness. You not only drop the anger and hate and revenge off at the door, you invite love and success beyond your wildest dreams into your life.
Oh, my God, Dana. Wow. Wow. So powerful. I mean, just back up for a second, I just, being in that coma when your parents were say goodbye to you, and you are a fighter beyond anyone I've ever met in my life. Like, I'm astounded, and the fact that you were biting on the ventilator, like, let me out, I'm gonna breathe on my own again. I don't want to hear any people talking, as if I wouldn't be. I mean, what do you mean I'm not gonna walk? Are you kidding me? Like, this woman is such a fighter. It is really, like, nobody can sit here at this moment in time, in this world we live in, with what is going on, and living in a victim consciousness gets you nowhere. I mean, listen to the forgiveness. How do you go from being thrown over a cliff, left for dead, to being able to forgive the man that did that to you, to being able to live in a life of forgiveness where you are free? I mean, tell me what that freedom, what that feels like, and what is
Forgiveness is something you either do or you don't do. And you have to decide. The first thing, everybody's like, well, how did you do it? I'm like, the first thing I had to do was make a choice. I had to make the decision to forgive. I had to consciously choose forgiveness. And then I had to practice it every day for a long time. I kind of had to fake it till I made it. And once you truly forgive, you start to see that there was nothing to forgive in the first place, because what happened to me gave me the greatest gift I could possibly imagine. I thought I was ugly and fat and worthless, and that I really wasn't as happy as I could be before I got hurt in the wheelchair. It showed me who I was inside. It showed me my true nature. I was able to dig deeper than I ever thought I could. Boot camp was hard. This was 30,000 times harder. However, I got to use my brain because I had to reshape it. I had to relearn how to read, relearn how to do math. I started it in remedial classes in college. And because your brain is plastic and you can retrain neural pathways, I was able to keep going and be persistent and graduate cum laude from Colorado Mesa University. It's perseverance and it's believing, and the forgiveness is a key component in your freedom of your soul. And you have to make that conscious choice. And you will slip, and then you have to make it again. And once you realize that the trauma was actually a gift in your life, like, I joined the Navy to see the world. I have been to 6 out of 7 continents in a wheelchair. I have met my heroes. I met Robin Williams. I've been taken places I never thought I would be. And I just forgot to put it in my contract that I wanted to see the world able-bodied. I got to see the world on a ship in a nice comfortable bed instead of a small rack stacked 3 high. So I mean, like, the reality is I've kind of lived in style. I've been able to live a more abundant life. It's been an interesting gift and challenging. People say I make it look easy.
You do.
I don't know how.
I've roomed with you before.
It's your attitude is where that comes in. Attitude of gratitude also helps with the forgiveness. Once you realize the gifts in your trauma, it's easier to forgive. And you just make a choice in your heart. And when you let go of the anger, you free your soul.
You free your soul. I mean, really, that is just, something most people really struggle with. Like, people hold on to resentment, they hold on to, fear, doubt, and fear. And when you hear a story like yours that, where you're able to forgive, you're able to gain the strength, the mental strength, physical strength, where you have the drive and the hunger. When you hunger to rise above it and to learn from your challenges and to find the grace and the gifts in in the pain, it's a remarkable life after that. And I feel you, like, your freedom, even in the past year since I've met you, like, we're always a work in progress, right, Dana? I mean, like you said.
Like, always growing and always learning, and I'm still healing. I'm still healing this spinal cord injury, and I'm 29 and a half years post injury at this point. I went to Rhythmia Life Center and I did some plant medicine 4 days, and I literally merged my body with my soul.
Wow.
And that sounds weird and woo woo, and it just took the love for life that much higher. And if you're still wondering how to forgive, get your butt to Rhythmia Life Center in Costa Rica and go through some plant medicine. You'll forgive by proxy. You'll just be there and it'll happen. So you'll drop a lot of pain and a lot of anguish, and you'll come out glowing like the sun, because there's so much love that you just don't realize is out there.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Inside you, I am not a unicorn. I'm not an anomaly. Each and every person watching this live, you, Miss Gina, have overcome, and everybody has it inside them. It's when you're put the test, that's when you find what you truly are made of. And diamonds are made through storms and crushing and high pressure. You don't get to be a diamond without the pressure. We're all diamonds in the rough, and we all have a journey. We all have a book inside.
Yeah.
Every listening to this, I'm like, your voice matters. Your story matters. You matter.
Yes.
And my story is not unique. My story is just what happened to me, except it's happened to 1 in 5 women in the United States.
I mean,
Rape, assault, batter. I mean, it's happened to many of us. 1 in 72 men go through sexual assault in their lifetime. 1 in 5 women experience sexual assault in their lifetime. I am not a unicorn.
no, you are not.
Together, and the only way we can rise is if we rise together.
Absolutely. Rise together for sure. You are kind of a unicorn. People don't always get thrown off a cliff and left for dead. And yes, we have all of our crosses, and there's so many beautiful. Dana, you're a forgiveness warrior. Prudy, I'll tell you, well, I'll put more about rhythmia in the chat when we get done here. Susan Hum says, oh, shamanic journeys are key. Yes, it is an amazing, amazing story. And it's so important, like Susan says, it's so important to state that our own stories are worthy without comparison. That is absolutely right. Everyone has a story.
There are people, some of you people, men, women watching, have been through worse than what I've been through.
Yes.
Some have been through that you might not see it as worse or whatever, but it's all relative to what your journey is in your life. And your story is just as painful to you as mine was to me. And the forgiveness is what set me free from that pain. And I stepped out of victimhood when I stepped in forgiveness. And now I can tell my story. I can say, yes, I was raped and thrown off a cliff and left for dead without emotional attachment. And you have stepped into forgiveness and out of emotional attachment when you can say, oops, I said that backward. You stepped out of victimhood when you can say it without emotion. I mean, like every now and then I'll say it and have a emotion here or there, but that just means I've still got more work to do. I'm not perfect. I'm still working on it. And everybody gets to work on themselves, and when we lift ourselves up, we lift each other up, and that's the big thing. I mean, like, we're a unified human race, and I think this COVID virus has highlighted that more than anything, that it leaves no one out.
No one out. No one out.
There is no race, there is no color, there is no power, there is no money. Like, no one is immune.
Right.
It can affect.
Right. In the whole world, it's just powerful.
I honestly believe in the gifts that the COVID is bringing about, and the sadness. Yes, the deaths are sad, and our first responders need to be respected and loved.
Yes.
And the gifts that are coming from this is the earth is getting a break from humanity.
Absolutely.
We're all figuring out that we are a united human race. We are not just the United States. We are a united human race.
Yes. Yes. And that is such a beautiful way to state it and to feel it, and to, for everyone to look at it and say, you know what, it is a power, and it's a powerful time that people can stop and look at what they might need to forgive in their lives to free their souls, right? Like, what a gift we have right now to be able to look inside of what your pain that you went through is. What is your cross that you're bearing now? That is something that is painful that you've been carrying in your soul, maybe thinking, why did this happen to me? What can, now you have a chance to say, what can I do different to shift this? And
how can I drop this? How can I set this cross down? You don't
yeah,
have to carry that cross anymore.
yes,
You can set it down.
You can set it down.
Make the choice to forgive and overcome.
Yes.
And you know, there's tools that I have used, which some of them are meditations by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I have done stem cells around the world. I have done Egoscue style training. I have had personal trainer after personal trainer, and I've done plant medicine. I've done traditional therapy. I've done hypnotherapy. I'm like, there's a lot of things out there that you can do, and not everything is going to work for you. And try something new. And that's one thing that has kept me going. There's always another way. If what you've tried doesn't work,
Try
don't keep trying.
something
And try something else. There's so many options out there, and so much energy work, and so many healers. That breath work is amazing. I've done some of Wim Hof's breath work, and it's crazy amazing.
Yeah.
Circular also is another way to merge your soul and your body back, because we all, at a certain point, trauma happens to you at a certain age, and part of the human journey, the human experience, is to separate body and soul, and your experience is to get back merged with that soul.
Yes.
And that's where you start to feel love for yourself when you merge back. And near-death experiences, I've had a few of those, and those are also journeys to love. And I know that's weird, but
No, don't. You're looking at somebody who,
drowning was a beautiful thing.
I mean, I didn't, the drowning part was a different time, right? I mean, that was,
I
yeah.
pulled enough water. I was rafting and I fell out of the boat, and I was, because I don't have full dexterity in my right hand, I had my hand strapped to the paddle, and I was rafting as a quadriplegic, and I just fell out of the boat and I couldn't roll back over. So I was like, uh-oh.
She says so lightly. I mean, this is a woman, talk about strength. She just told you she almost drowned, and she had her second near-death experience. She was the first paraplegic to drive across country in a quadriplegic. Sorry, I get those wrong. Sorry, quadriplegic to drive across country in an 18-wheeler alone, right? Or no, you were with
No. Yeah.
But you drove.
Yeah.
I mean, she drives. Like,
yeah. And for those of you who get confused about quadriplegia and paraplegia, or tetraplegia, which is a new word for quadriplegia, paraplegia means you're paralyzed from wherever you've broken your back down. So 2 limbs have been affected by paralysis, and quadriplegia doesn't mean you're paralyzed from the neck down per se. It just means all 4 limbs have been affected by paralysis, and tetraplegic is the same thing.
okay. Well, thank you for clarifying that, since
Yeah, I get that a lot. I'm like, how can you be a quadriplegic? You can move your arms. It's common. And we all, I mean, like, that's what I actually thought, if you broke your neck, you died. So.
Well, I did too. So, yeah. Well, I knew you could break your neck, but I mean, from what you went through, like, you had some serious angels around you. And you know why you had those angels? I mean, we know now. Because why?
I test them.
You test them. And they test you.
How did we get this one?
They test you because the world needs you. That's what we need, people like you that continue to step up, that continue to have the strength to carry on, to fight through the fire, to fight their own wars within, to forgive. And part of that also, like, backing up to what you were talking about before, is also being in proximity to people that are also hungering for making a difference in the world, and being stronger, and trying everything that they can to make things work. Sorry?
I didn't have it until now, though. I mean, not this last year, until I met all of you with the Tony Robbins tribe. I've been pretty much the one person I know that keeps trying to walk. And I know there's other people out there now. And since Project Walk came about, but when Project Walk was still Ruru Sports, there was only 2 of us.
Wow. But you did have Wayne Dyer. I hear what you're saying about
Wayne Dyer, I found his books when I was in my early 20s, and I started practicing his stuff at age 25, 26, something like that. And I've been manifesting my way through life ever since. And I've believed in it and I've done the work. If you don't do the work, if you just read the book and you're like, oh, that's nice, you're not going to get it. You really have to do the work.
And
If
that's
you're going to listen to Benza stuff, do the meditations. Don't just listen. Like it's active healing.
active healing is an absolute must, and we've done a lot of that work together in the past several months, and thankfully, and I'm very grateful that we've connected on a deep level, and that you inspire me daily, and everybody in the chat is saying that I need Dana in my ear daily, and Suzanne says the way out is through, and that's for sure, and you have been the perfect example of the way out is through, and just steamrolling through the fires of hell that people get stuck in, and looking within and forgiving, finding the next thing that's gonna help you rise above it. Like what can I grab onto that's gonna help me rise above it? You hungered for it again, and that is, and you have to do the practice. It's a practice. It's not like you can say, all right, I'm going to try these meditations for a week and then I'm good. If it doesn't work, I'm not, then forget it. No, it's a daily.
Twice a day, every day since the end of December. And Tony Rodriguez is doing like the lives every day. He's got like 108 days. So I know how many days I've been doing it because he's doing every day. So I'm like, oh my God, I've been doing this every day for 108 days. And I got a little bit of function back in a thumb. I don't know where the camera is.
You're right. You're right there. Yeah.
There. I'm like, and that's the difference. Any amount of progress is progress.
Yeah.
So celebrate the little tiny ones and the big ones. I can honestly say one of my biggest mistakes is I didn't celebrate enough of the progress along the way. I was always like, well, I'm not running yet, or I'm not doing it fast yet, or I'm not doing it yet.
Uh-oh, we get a little frozen. We're in. Oh, we're frozen. You're slow-mo. Hang on. Just hold whatever you're saying, because you're not coming through. I hope it changes soon, but I'm so grateful for. Can you hear me, Dana? There we go. Dana? Ah, you're frozen. So Susan Hum says, don't fear the dark, befriend it as you rise. Absolutely. Commitment and discipline are key to success. Yes. Dana, when you can, say something, because I still can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm hoping you come back to. Oh, there you are. I think you're back. Oh,
am I back?
Yeah, I think you are. You're a little.
Hello from the other side.
She's back from the other side. Phew. It's a little loud, but that's okay. It's perfect. As long as you're back, I'm happy about that. I don't work. You were, you're talking about powering through, doing the work. It's a must. You have to do the work. You, and as one of my wonderful mentors, Susan Hum, says, embracing the process is personal development. You embrace the process. And don't forget. What?
Celebrate.
And celebrating the process. Yeah. Celebrating the progress. Absolutely. Every ounce of progress is huge. It really is. People don't do it. I know that from my own story, and I know that from my own personal development work. I don't know what that noise is, but I think that our signal from the universe to make it end this for now. But we will have more. So weird. Okay, so I'm going to thank you for being here, for being what my first guest.